Alright, it's Newton Gimmick of InfiniteHollywood.com, and I'm going to be doing 5 movie reviews in 5 minutes. Let's get to it. Right off with The Wolfman from 2010. This just come out this past weekend. I enjoyed it a lot. It's not my favorite movie or anything, and it's a remake of the Lon Chaney Jr. film, but it doesn't touch the classic at all. Still, if you're looking for an adult horror film, this is really a pretty solid effort. There's some gore and there's some blood, but it's not over the top in a Saw type of sense. They're not trying to gross you out here, even though some of the scenes definitely are pretty gory. Most of the people in the theater were older, but they did get a couple of jumps and a couple of scares, so it's kind of cool to see something other than fruity werewolves running around without their shirts on. It's nice to see an adult horror movie for a change, and this looks like this could bring some new people into the genre. It's nothing fancy, but it's certainly worth a look if you like horror. Next up we have Pandorum. This came out last year and really fell under the radar as far as I'm concerned. It's been out on DVD for a couple of weeks now, and I just saw it a while back. I really liked it. One of the things that trailers and the advertisements made out that it was really more of a psychological thriller, and while there is an element to that, it's definitely a space and science fiction film. There's some cool aliens and creatures, and I won't give too many spoilers, but needless to say, there's a lot more at work here than just what appears on the surface. Honestly, I rank this up there with the Alien and Aliens. It really brings some new stuff to the scene, and everything is pretty exciting, and there's definitely some scary parts and some real claustrophobic feeling that you got from those original Alien movies. So it's nice to see this, and if you get a chance to check it out on DVD, it's definitely worth it if you like science fiction. Next we have Adventureland. This came out last year, and I didn't really think the trailers did anything that made me want to see it, but Richard Roper had mentioned that it was one of his favorite movies of the past year, so I decided to check it out when I just didn't really have anything else to rent. Big mistake. The movie is basically a love story, but it's about this boring summer job and, I don't know, friends. It's really stupid, but the boring summer job part, it nails pretty well, because watching this movie, I felt like I was in some boring summer job. It just goes on and on and on, and there's just not enough laughs or not enough for me to care about these characters to watch what feels like an 8-hour movie. Just avoid this at all costs. It's not worth it. Better stuff out there. Interestingly, Jesse Eisenberg also made this, or also starred in this Zombieland, come out the same year, and this is much better. If you're looking for a good popcorn flick, this is definitely it. It doesn't bring anything new to the zombie genre. Not even the comedy element is as strong as, say, Shaun of the Dead, and it's not as committed to being a zombie movie as others. But the cameo that you've probably read about by now is pretty fun, and there's some cool stuff here. I mean, it's better than so many. Zombies are just being played up so much right now with so many low-budget, crappy zombie flicks that this is nice, and you kind of like these characters, and they're having fun, and that's really what you kind of want to see in a zombie flick. Some good kills and some good fun, and a couple of original ideas in here, but nothing, that's gonna, like I said, reinvent the genre. It's not as good as Shaun of the Dead or some of the other ones that have come out in the last couple of years that really have upped the ante with zombie films. But this is still a worthwhile addition and a good, like I said, popcorn flick if you're just looking for a good way to waste some time. Finally, we have District 9. I'd seen the original short film that this movie was based on, and I thought it was kind of preachy, so I wasn't super excited to see District 9. But as it turns out, this is actually a lot less preachy even than the short film, which I believe was like 10 minutes or something. The human story is actually pretty good, and although you kind of know what's going on after a while, and some of it feels a little long, overall it's a pretty good film, and there's some great science fiction elements here. One of the things that this does that Avatar fails at is that it's got a strong story. Science fiction is about story, not about special effects. Certainly special effects can add to a science fiction story, but you have to have a good, compelling story, and that's what this has. The special effects are pretty good, but again, if you're comparing this to like something like Avatar, which is nothing but just crappy it's Fern Gully in 3D, then this is definitely worth checking out if you really want to see what good alien science fiction could be. So District 9 definitely worth taking a look at. So to review, Wolfman, out in theaters now. If you like adult horror films, this is definitely for you. It's polished and some pretty good acting in there. Decent special effects. Pandorum's out on DVD, and if you're a big fan of science fiction, or even a moderate fan and want to see what science fiction done right, Pandorum is worth checking out. Adventureland, just skip this at all costs. It's just terrible and a waste of your time. Zombieland, again, something that doesn't do anything to reinvent itself or add anything to the genre, but still a fun trip with some fun characters. And District 9 is basically everything Avatar isn't. It's a good film about aliens. For InfiniteHollywood.com, I'm Newton Gimmick.